Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday, and I'm going to talk about something perhaps a little bit contentious today, but it's my honest opinion, and I honestly don't know where I land on this. I can't tell if Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West is a totally boring character personality wise, interesting looking as anything, but boring personality wise, or it's kind of refreshing to have sort of a stoic protagonist that isn't all super quippy, even though it's third person. And I want to be really clear. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm really enjoying Forbidden West. It's the gameplay that makes the game for me. I don't need to be invested in the main character's hopes and dreams and fears. I'm just throwing this out here because I'm like, there's a bit of a Captain Marvel vibe going on in this game, and I want to unpack that. If you like this sort of content, and this is a video I am expecting to get screamed at by somebody, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK ongoing, or one-time donation on coffee.com/LeannaK. I will have this updated by Feedback Friday. The coffee.com, you can buy a Leanna Cares session for someone. We need 3 a week to keep the current roster going. 3 $25 donations a week to keep it going at the current rate for the people that are getting subsidized services. So thank you in advance. Somebody did buy a coffee yesterday, so greatly appreciated. Do you think I should announce people? Is that a cool incentive if I said their names or something? I have no idea. I am such an introvert. I don't want anybody talking about me. Nerdette's Newsstand did a thing about the best female YouTubers, and they featured me. And it was very, very sweet, but I watched the video. It's like, oh my God, that's me. And I freaked out a little bit. And then it's like, they're being very nice, and it's very good feedback, and I super appreciate it. But at first I was like, turtle. Like, just true story. I'm punchy. Anyway, Aloy. It's one of those, to me, I don't know if I'm overthinking this, because it's like a game design thing and a narrative design thing, and I know I do overthink these things. I usually think it's a good thing. But I find that one of my criticisms of the Horizon series is that it can't seem to decide what it wants to be in terms of Ludo genre. Does it want to be an action RPG like the Witcher series? Does it want to be more of an open world action adventure game like Uncharted keeps trying to be but doesn't quite make it? It's like right down the middle. The RPG elements are, especially with the dialogue, not terribly meaningful yet. As opposed to, an open world game like, the Far Cry series. That's first person, I know. But, the plot's hardwired. You don't have that many choices in it. There's choices at a few critical moments, but most of the time it's what gun do you use? And the amigos, what amigos do you use? Good enough for me. Yay, Chicharron. I love them all. I know I mention Chicharron a lot, but I love them all. Like, I sometimes switch out just so that, like, the others don't feel neglected. But, there's no expectation that you can control dialogue in that game. I actually like the fact that the way they did the mission quest, you can just bail right out of it if you don't care. Give me the mission. I want to blow shit up. Horizon's the other way. There's a lot of, to me, really overwritten dialogue. And once you get past the, oh, wow, the graphics on these character models are astounding, and the people you're meeting in the world look like real people instead of a bunch of, models. It's like, this dialogue is freaking boring. And I don't know how they manage that in a game world that interesting. There's occasional characters who sell it, like Petra. I really like Petra. She's just got a sparkle to her. But I get the sense that Aloy's character is deliberate. I mean, I thought that Brie Larson's portrayal of Captain Marvel in the Captain Marvel movie was deliberate. And it's a risk, which I appreciate. And that's why I'm like, is this boring? Or do I wish that Horizon Forbidden West just committed to the fact that Aloy is sort of a stoic cipher in terms of her personality who is only interested in like completing missions? Personally, I would prefer they took those RPG dialogue things out of it, showed you more about the world through sort of emergent exploration. And I don't really care about the intellectual, the brain response, the heart response, the fist response. Maybe I'm like in the minority and there's lots of people who just love those encounters, but I just want to shoot robot dinosaurs in the face, and set them on fire and freeze them and electrocute them. And that's the core. The action gameplay, once you get used to the complexity, is just so engaging. It makes up for the other faults in the game. Which is why I wonder why they bother with the RPG elements. It's like maybe their pitch was that it was an RPG light, and so they have to stay with it because they don't want to lose, they don't want to lose people on the margins who really like that stuff. But then why wouldn't you do more with Aloy's character going forward? And this is where the conspiracy theorist in me starts kicking in. And this is where I really struggle between the gamer in me and then the game developer in me, because the game developer in me goes, it's a valid choice to make her that way. And in a way, it's pretty gutsy if it's deliberate. The gamer in me goes, if you're going to have this character talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, can you make her more interesting? And then the gamer in me goes, no, because the minute you make a female character interesting, someone gets offended. Someone disagrees with a choice she made, and then you have culture war. And then the game dev in me goes, you're right, gamer self. Why would anybody put themselves in the firing line like that? It's hard enough to get a female playable character through one of these, major studios, marketing departments, and, money guys. So play it safe. If people will consume boring, be boring, because it's friggin' safer than giving her a personality and someone goes, that's sexist because she dared to be an individual with a desire of any kind. And, it's weird because, like, tons of guys in this game are throwing themselves at her, and she's just like, and it's like, cool. Are they making her kind of neurodivergent here, that she doesn't know all these guys who are sort of into her, and she's just like, must complete my mission? I would prefer they leaned into that. But if that's true, then just give Aloy the choices there. Don't make it the player doing the responses, because she's so flat affect for such major parts of the game, and then all of a sudden she's like, rawr, heart. The brain response to me is sort of more how they write her. And so there's sort of, I don't understand the extra level of complexity. Maybe it was like I said, the only way they got it through so that it wasn't another open world-ish action adventure platformer like, God of War or Uncharted. Maybe they're just, doing business, getting the game done, but you'd think they'd improve it from game 1 to game 2. You see what I mean? Like, I keep going around going, what is this? And like the gamer in me would rather it just be weak writing than um a conscious choice to stay out of trouble. But then you see everything that comes out of Sony first party. Weak writing is not usually a marker of things if we eliminate The Last of Us 2. But even then, strong vision, very strong vision. They did what they wanted to do with it. I thought it was a series of hot mess mistakes, but they clearly wanted to do certain things. But I mean, the writing in Ghost of Tsushima is so solid. The God of War games are so solid. And so it's just like, this portrayal of Aloy is deliberate. And then I go, yeah, but what do Uncharted and God of War and Ghost of Tsushima all have? Male protagonists, they're allowed to be interesting. Like, Kratos is allowed to run around half naked yelling at everybody. Zeus! Ares! And then it's Norse gods, and he's just still yelling, right? Like, who was it? Oh, Baldur! All that stuff. Freya! Like, he just yells at everybody. Whereas Aloy's like, I'm talking to myself the whole time. I'm reminding myself of things. Because apparently I have a brain like a squirrel. And unless I talk to myself out loud, I forget. Why am I talking to myself as a stealth character? I don't know. It's to inform the player of information that they need to know and may have forgotten, because this is an incredibly huge game. She just talks to herself all the time. So if they deliberately made her weird, I would love that. But it's like they couldn't quite go there. And that with a male lead, though in the original Watch Dogs, I thought that that's what they were going for with Aiden, and it didn't quite translate. But I like that they made him weird and unlikable because he's a hacker, right? He's a gray hat hacker. They gave him the personality gray hat hackers have a lot of the time. Though I will admit that Watch Dogs 2 overall was a lot more fun. But again, like I said, this isn't the criticism in this necessarily, and it doesn't ruin the game for me. It's just a curiosity, because I think the character would take more crap for being kind of flat if she were male, if Aloy was a he. Then people would feel sort of okay saying he's a boring character. Whereas because it's a woman, it's like a good thing that she's kind of boring, because then she offends no one. And I don't want to believe that's true. But the more I think about it, the more I think it probably was a calculated play it safe, because they already take so much crap for their art style. And I would totally get them going, we have to pick our battles here, and we're going to get shit for daring to use, non-European historical art references, because everybody says they want more diversity in games, but when you actually do it, they howl. Because it's not perfect in their mind, even though they're not representing any real life cultures. It's deliberate combo of them, and the character designs are sweet, like the armor designs and the different factions and the way they put it all together, freaking gorgeous. And I think that's so good. I'm sort of like, can all you talky bits and RPG bits and just get the fuck out of the way and let me shoot dinosaurs in the face and butt in a really pretty world. And again, I might be being selfish here, and I might be being short-sighted. I may be saying I don't like these elements, but I'm still enjoying the game. So is anybody out there like the RPG elements of the game? Like the dialogue bits, not the armor and the skill points and everything like that. I'm not quibbling that, but it's the the talkie bits, the role playing. See, I don't consider skill trees and swappable armor and weapons you can load out. I don't consider those RPG. They're RPG elements in terms of video games, but I don't think that's a definitive RPG experience. That's just loot, right? But loot's RPG. Well, no, because it's role-playing game. There are plenty of games where you collect weapons that are not role-playing games. Same with armor, same with skill points. It's become this, oh, if you have a skill tree, it's an RPG, but no, that's not role-playing. Far Cry has armor and weapons and all that stuff. They merged the skill trees and the armor, which I didn't even notice until somebody pointed out I was having so much fun. I actually think that was a maybe smart move. But, role-playing games mean role-playing. And I used to love role-playing games, and more, I am getting so damn picky about them. Now, is that because I've changed? Or is that because the quality of the actual role-playing elements in a role-playing game has gone down? And then I go back and think, no, I really loved Witcher 3. I really thought that was a fantastic game. Not perfect. The writing was still bumpy in places, but I could get invested in that. So it's like this whole you must play it safe, or the getting to know the characters now is all about, oh, we have to make sure there's plumbing options for every orientation and preference, as opposed to let's create a bunch of characters that a player is really going to love and recognize that it's a video game. Is genitalia you never see all that important? I don't know. And that's not to say they shouldn't be creative about, the relationships. Well, what happened to friendships in games too? Like, everything became about romance options instead of getting to know various characters. I mean, one of the things I loved about Dragon Age Origins is I found befriending Morrigan more interesting than having a sexual relationship with her. The dialogue options were more interesting. I mean, yes, there's that ending, but I found her more interesting when I friend-zoned Morrigan, which I thought was a lovely bit of writing, considering what character trope she is. But yeah, I'm really curious what you guys think. If you like the talkie bits in Horizon Forbidden West, let me know why. I maybe I can get my head around this more. And again, I'm not saying I dislike Aloy as a character. I kind of like that she's boring. I just wish she was weird. Does that make any sense? Like, make it more clear that they are deliberately making her sort of out of touch with humanity. And maybe that will become more clear as the game goes on. But even now, after I've put, I guess, about 15, 20 hours in, I should be getting a sense of who she is by now. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I really think the gender of the character plays into the muted character and the reactions to it. That, Chell from Portal is, to me, a shining example. It was like, oh, she was a female playable character. You don't see her, you don't hear her for the vast majority of the game, and that's why everybody can go, Chell, female playable character, and nobody has to be challenged by anything about her. The minute Samus does something interesting, people puke up hairballs, right? The minute Samus doesn't act properly horrified at a death because, she's a freaking warrior who's seen some shit, Kotaku op-ed. interested in your opinion, interested in what you want to hear. All opinions welcome. Really want to hear what you think. Please just tell me what you think instead of criticizing what I think. I want to see the diversity of views on this. And my frame rate has gone to crap again. Something's wrong with my friggin' camera. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron through patreon.com/LeannaK or a one-time Leanna Cares session coffee patron donate. I don't know. Coffee.com/LeannaK. I got to work on that coffee pitch. Thanks for watching.